Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel GATE Classes by the Techie Faculties. I am Chandrapal Singh Inda, mentor for the course of heat transfer for the GATE classes, and this is my brief introduction. Today is our second lecture on convection heat transfer. So before starting the class, I would suggest you guys make your own notes. Although many notes are available in the market, but during the exam, your own handwritten notes will definitely help you. So make your own notes. So let's start with the course, and we will list the topic that we are going to cover today. As we know, the convection heat transfer is classified into two categories. One is forced convection and another one is natural convection or free convection. So today we will discuss about the forced convection. In this part, we will discuss about the physical quantities present in the forced convection system, and then we will stabilize the relationship between them so that we can find the value of convective heat transfer coefficient, through which we can find the value of convective heat transfer. And the second topic that we are going to cover today is dimensionless number used in a forced convection. The third topic that we are going to cover today is, which is a subpart of forced convection, means as we know that the forced convection is further classified into two categories. One is external forced convection and another one is internal forced convection. So today we will start with the external forced convection, means flow over flat plate. So let's start with the forced convection. To understand the physical quantities present in the forced convection, we have the example of external forced convection, in which we consider a solid boundary or a flat plate which is having a length L and maintained at a temperature Ts, and a fluid stream with the velocity u infinite and temperature T infinite approaching towards this solid boundary. As this strike the plate, the boundary layer forms. So the hydrodynamic boundary layer is represented as shown in the figure. So this is how a boundary layer forms over the flat plate. Let's consider G is a function for forced convection. So in this part we will put here as a function of forced convection the physical quantities. Let's have let's find how many physical quantities are there. First quantities, as this is an example of forced convection, so there is a convection and we will have convective heat transfer coefficient. So the first parameter or physical quantities is convective heat transfer coefficient. As we can see, the system has a length L, so this is also a physical parameter which is denoted as characteristatics length. Then we will have the velocity of the fluid stream u infinite. Then there is a temperature is also there. So this physical property we can see clearly. Now as the boundary layer is formed over here, so there is a momentum distribution. So the momentum distribution in the boundary layer denoted by kinematic viscosity nu, which is equal to the dynamic viscosity divided by density. So these there are two physical quantities are there also, so we can write it in the function of forced convection. Now as there will be a heat diffusion will be there also, so we will have thermal diffusion, thermal diffusivity or heat diffusivity, which is denoted as alpha, which is equal to the K by rho Cp. So this alpha is for the fluid, and then this K will be related to the fluid. So we will have Kf, and Cp is the specific heat of the fluid. So in the forced convection we have these number of physical quantities. Let's reduce this, means we can write the convective heat transfer is equal to the function of characteristics length u infinite, temperature mu, rho, Cp and Kf. Means this represent that the convective heat transfer coefficient depends upon these following physical quantities or the parameter. As we have said earlier that convective heat transfer coefficient is a parameter, it is not a property of the fluid, so it will depend upon the physical properties. So from here we have that the h is the function of these physical quantities. Now we can apply here a dimensional analysis so that the number of physical quantity is reduced in a dimensionless number. These dimensionless number represent the configuration of the system. So now if we apply here dimensional analysis, we will have Nusselt number is a function of Reynolds number and Prandtl number. If we apply dimensional analysis here, then we will have the Reynolds number, the Nusselt number will be a function of Reynolds number and the Prandtl number. So this is these are the three dimensionless numbers. These are three dimensionless number that we are going to use in the forced convection. So let's have their significance and understanding what they represent. So let's start with the Reynolds number. So Reynolds number is a ratio of inertia force to the viscous force. So inertia force is equal to the mass into gravity, and viscous force will be denoted by shear stress tau into surface area. This mg is will be equal to rho into volume, and the gravity can be denoted by rate of change of or acceleration. This is gravitational acceleration, so it can be represented by velocity, rate of change of velocity per unit time, so v by t. This volume can be written as L cube, so we will have rho into L cube into v by t. So one of this L by t will be equal to the velocity, so we will have rho into v square L square. Now we have tau into area. Tau is a shear stress. Shear stress is denoted by mu du by dy and multiply by the area. In that part we will have du can be represented as velocity, and this can be represented by the length, and this area can be represented by the L square. Then we will have mu into velocity into length. If we put this value over here, we will have rho v L upon mu, where rho is the density of the fluid, v is a free stream velocity, rho is a velocity of fluid, and Lc is a characteristatics length. And nu is a dynamic viscosity. As this is further can be reduced to v into characteristic length by nu, where nu is kinematic viscosity. The forced convection system is divided into two categories. One is external forced convection and another one is internal forced convection. So in the next part we will understand how we will use the value of Reynolds number for these types of flow. Before that we will see what is the significance of the Reynolds number. So the Reynolds number signifies that whether the flow is laminar or turbulent. So it represents that the flow is laminar or turbulent. So it depends upon the value of the Reynolds number. Let's see how it represented. First we will have external forced convection, in which the flow is over the solid boundary. Here we will have up to section A. It represents up to point A, or from this leading edge to this point A, there will be a laminar flow. Then up to point B, from A to B, there is a transition of laminar flow into turbulent flow. So this is a transition. A to B, there is a transition flow, and after B there is a turbulent flow. So from 0 to A, means O to A, this type of flow is defined as a laminar flow. So that for the laminar flow over a flat plate, the value of Reynolds number is 3 into 10 to the power 5. So the Reynolds number, if the value of Reynolds number is lesser than or equal to the value of 3 into 10 to the power 5, then the flow is considered as a laminar flow. And if the value of Reynolds number is greater than 3 into 10 to the power 5 and lesser than 5 into 10 to the power 5, then this type of flow is transition flow. Or if the value of Reynolds number is greater than 5 into 10 to the power 5, then the flow is turbulent. Laminar flow means the flow of the fluid is layer by layer means one layer of the fluid is sliding over the another layer of the fluid. So this is this type of flow is oriented flow, means there is no randomness. But in case of the turbulent flow, there is intermixing of the fluid is there, means one mass of the one layer is jumped to the another layer, means mass is jumping, means there is a intermixing between the fluid layer. So in a turbulent flow there is a intermixing of the fluid particles. Now we will have one more value of Reynolds number, which is represented as critical value of the Reynolds number for the external flow over a flat plate. We have the critical value of Reynolds number as 5 into 10 to the power 5. The critical value represents that a value of Reynolds number up to which we can consider the flow is treated as a laminar flow, as we are not having empirical relations for the transition flow. Then we are considering that up to 5 into 10 to the power 5, up to value of the Reynolds number 5 into 10 to the power 5, the flow will be treated as laminar flow. Now now if we want to find the value of Reynolds number at point x, so we can find the value of Reynolds number at x. How? We have to find the distance between the leading edge and that point where we have to find the value of Reynolds number. So we have to calculate the length from the leading edge. Now the Reynolds number at that point x will be equal to this is as x, so we will have rho v x upon mu. Here we can say that Reynolds number is a function of x, as the length is varying from the leading edge, the value of the Reynolds number varies. Okay, so here in the external forced convection, the Reynolds number varies with the change in the point or change in the point over the flat plate from the leading edge. Now have internal forced convection. For internal forced convection, the flow takes place inside the closed conduit. Now this is the length of the pipe and that is a diameter of the pipe. Here in internal flow, the characteristic length is equal to the diameter. So we will have Reynolds number will be equal to rho into velocity into diameter by mu. Means for the entire length, the value of the Reynolds number for the internal flow remain constant throughout the length. Okay, let's have the value of the Reynolds number for the different kind of flow. So for the laminar flow, the value of the Reynolds number is up to 2000. Means if the value of Reynolds number is lesser than 2000, then we will have a laminar flow. If the value of Reynolds number is greater than 2000 and lesser than 4000, then the flow will be treated as transition flow. And if the value of Reynolds number is greater than 4000, then the flow is turbulent flow. So we have to remember these values when we have the numerical problems. Here the one more value is also there, which is a critical Reynolds number, but for the internal flow the critical Reynolds number is equal to the 2300. So once it has been asked in the ISRO's exam, what is the value of critical Reynolds number for the internal flow? So for the laminar flow means the critical value for internal flow for the laminar is 2300. If the question has been asked that what is the value of Reynolds number for the laminar flow, then we have to check this answer. In that case, this answer is going to correct. But if the examiner has asked about the critical Reynolds number, then in that case we will tick or choose this option. The critical Reynolds number value for the internal flow is 2300. Let's have another dimensionless number, which is a Nusselt number. So Nusselt number is a ratio of Q convection, means heat transfer through convection, to the heat transfer through the conduction. So we will have the Nusselt number is equal to HL upon K. How? Q convection is HA delta T and conduction is K A delta T by characteristics length. So A the area is going to cancel out. So we will have HL by K, where H is the convective transfer coefficient for the fluid and L is the characteristics length and K is for the thermal conductivity of the fluid. So one more definition is there for the Reynolds Nusselt number is that a conductive resistance offered by the fluid, that the Nusselt number is equal to the conductive resistance offered by the fluid. So here fluid is important. Offered by the fluid to the surface convection resistance, surface convection resistance. So the significance of the Nusselt number is that it signifies that how much of heat is gained due to the advection of the fluid. So the minimum value of the Nusselt number is 1. So always if there is a convection, in that case we will have the value of Nusselt number always greater than 1. If we have value of Nusselt number is equal to 1, means which is a minimum value of the Nusselt number, in that case there is still conduction. Now for the how, as we have seen in the Reynolds number section, that length is varying, means characteristics length for the external forced convection is varying from leading edge to the trailing edge. So here also this we will follow the same criteria here, and for the internal forced convection we will have a characteristics length will be equal to the diameter of the pipe. The next we have a question on Voigt number, which you might have seen in the Finn's analysis. So the Voigt number signifies the ratio of. So Voigt number is also equal to the HL upon K. But the difference in a Voigt number is that this K is related to the solid, means related to the phase material, means it is a thermal conductivity of the phase material, so it is related to the solid. But in case of the Nusselt number, this K is related to the fluid. So here we will have option C is incorrect, D is incorrect. The conductive resistance in the solid to the convective resistance in the fluid. So the option number B is correct in this question. So let's move to the second or last dimensionless number. Prandtl number is the only number which is the property of the fluid. It is defined as the ratio of kinematic viscosity of the fluid to the thermal diffusivity of the fluid. So kinematic viscosity of the fluid is denoted by nu and thermal diffusivity of the fluid is denoted by alpha. So nu can be written as mu by rho, and the alpha is or can be written as k by rho Cp. So we will have mu Cp by k, thermal conductivity of the fluid. Now this value, which is a kinematic viscosity, represent that rate at which the momentum diffusion occurs between the fluid layers in the x direction or the normal direction to the surface. This is how boundary layer represented. So boundary layer is defined as a region where the velocity gradient occurs. Means the value of velocity is changing from this point to this point. So here at the point A, the value of velocity is 0, and up to this point the velocity is 0.99 times of the u infinite. So this distance is known as boundary layer thickness, represented as a delta. So this kinematic viscosity is related to the delta. How? Let's see. As we have said that the kinematic viscosity denotes that at which means momentum is there in between the fluids, so which represented by the kinematic viscosity. So if we increase the value of kinematic viscosity, what happens? As the nu increases, the rate of momentum diffusion increases. Due to increase in the rate of momentum diffusion, the velocity gradient du by dy decreases. As the du by dy decreases, the value of boundary layer thickness increases. As boundary layer thickness is a region where the velocity increases or equal to the 0.99 times of the u infinite. So as the value of this increases, value of this kinematic viscosity increases, the thermal diffusivity the value of boundary layer thickness increases. Now we have thermal diffusivity alpha. So here is a heat diffusion due to the flowing of the fluid. So due to the heat diffusion, there is a formation of the thermal boundary layer. So thermal boundary layer is a region where the temperature gradient occurs. So from this point to this point, the temperature gradient is there, as there is a temperature Ts and there is a temperature T infinite. Means outside this boundary the temperature is T infinite. So the heat transfer is taking place only inside this boundary layer region. So from this point to this point the temperature is varying. The temperature reaches from Ts to T infinite. So this region is thermal boundary layer region and denoted by thermal boundary layer thickness delta T. So this alpha means thermal diffusivity. Higher the value of thermal diffusivity means there will be a heat, more the heat diffusion. So more heat diffusion means the temperature gradient will decrease, and value of delta T means thermal boundary layer thickness will increase. So this nu and alpha is also means as we can say the Prandtl number is a function of this, or we also can say the Prandtl number is a function of this. Now we have one important value, that delta by delta t means boundary layer thickness divided by thermal boundary layer thickness is equal to the 1.026 times of the Prandtl number's power 1 by 3. This is the most important formula uh, because many times it has been asked in the exams related to this formula. So if we have value of Prandtl number equal to 1, in that case if we have value of Prandtl number is equal to 1, then we will have delta is equal to the delta t. If we have value of Prandtl number greater than 1, if the value of Prandtl number is greater than 1, in that case we will have Prandtl number greater than 1. So if the value of Prandtl number is considered as 100, in that case the value of delta means the value of boundary layer thickness will be greater than the value of thermal boundary layer thickness. Then if the value of Prandtl number is lesser than 1, this is for the water. In case of water, we have value of Prandtl number is greater than 1, water, oil, etc. If we have value of Prandtl number lesser than 1, in that case we will have the delta T is greater than delta, means thermal boundary layer thickness is greater than the boundary layer thickness. So let's have few numerical problems over this formula. So let's move to the next question. So in the laminar flow of the air, as we have discussed that for the air the Prandtl number is lesser than 1. So in the question it is given that the Prandtl number is 0.7 over a heated plate. If delta and delta T denotes respectively the hydrodynamic boundary layer and thermal boundary layer thickness, then so we have option A, B, C and D. So now as we have that delta by delta T is equal to the Prandtl number power 1 by 3. From this we can have the value of delta T is greater than delta. So option number C is correct. As we have also written here that if the value of Prandtl number is lesser than 1, then we will have higher thickness of the thermal boundary layer. So the option number C is correct for the question number 2. So next we have question number 3. These two questions were asked in GATE 2015. Now the ratio of momentum diffusivity to the thermal diffusivity. So the momentum diffusivity is a kinematic viscosity nu to the thermal diffusivity alpha is called as. So we have studied that it is equal to the Prandtl number. The next flow of the fluid. Next question number 4. The flow of the fluid over heated plate. The following fluid properties are known. Viscosity of the fluid is given, which is equal to the 0.001 Pascal into second. So viscosity, this viscosity is dynamic viscosity, as the unit is Pascal into second, and kinematic viscosity has a unit meter square per second. So this is a dynamic viscosity or mu. So mu of the fluid is given. The specific heat is constant at constant pressure is 1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. The thermal diffusivity is equal to the sorry, thermal conductivity is equal to the 1 watt per meter Kelvin. So we have values of thermal conductivity and specific heat and constant pressure and dynamic viscosity. So what we have to find? The hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness at the specific location on the plate is 1 mm, and thermal boundary layer thickness at the same location is. So as we know that the relationship between boundary layer thickness and thermal boundary layer thickness is represented by the Prandtl number. So first we have to find the value of Prandtl number, and we have the Prandtl number is equal to the mu Cp by K. Therefore we put the value of this in the formula: 0.001 Pascal into second. Pascal into second can be written as Newton per meter square into second, which is SI unit. Now value of is 1 into 10 to the power 3 joule per kg Kelvin, and then we will have and the value of thermal conductivity is given is equal to the 1 watt per meter Kelvin. So in that calculation of the Prandtl number, most of us we are going to make mistakes in the putting the value of specific heat. So we have to keep this 10 to the power 3 as it is given in kilojoule. Now we will have the value of Prandtl number is equal to 1. So when we have the value of Prandtl number is equal to 1, in that case we will have delta T is equal to the delta, means thermal boundary layer thickness is equal to the hydrodynamic boundary layer thickness. So as the layer thickness of the specific is given as 1 mm, so it is given as a 1 mm. The option number C is correct. So let's move to the next question. So in the next question a fluid having a Prandtl number is equal to 1. So Prandtl number is equal to 1. This question has been asked in GATE 2016. So and fluid temperature of the fluid is equal to the 500 Kelvin, flows over the flat plate of 1.5 meter length, means the length of the plate is given is equal to the 1.5 meter. Maintained at a temperature, means the surface temperature is given is equal to the 300 Kelvin. The velocity of the fluid is, so V is equal to the 10 meter per second. Assuming kinematic viscosity nu is equal to 30 into 10 to the power minus 6 meter square per second. The thermal boundary layer thickness at 0.5 mm from the leading edge is. So for this question we have to calculate the value of Prandtl number first. So we calculate the so for this question we didn't have to calculate the value of Prandtl number, as the Prandtl number value is given is equal to the 1. So in that case we will have delta will be equal to the delta T, but we do not have the value of delta. But the value of delta we will have a formula for the calculation for the boundary layer thickness. Delta is equal to the 5 into x divided by Reynolds number at that location. So this delta has to be found at the 0.5 meter from the leading edge. So we'll put the value of x is equal to 0.5 means we will have 5 into 10 5 into 0.5 under root density velocity is equal to the 10 into character x will be 5, means here we will have Reynolds number is equal to rho v x upon mu. This mu by rho will be nu, so we can write here nu, and the value of velocity is given and value of x is also given, so we can put the value of velocity into 0.5 into 30 into 10 to the power minus 6. So we will have, by the calculation, as I have used the calculator for the calculation, so we will have the value is equal to the 6.123 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter, as we have put all the values in the SI unit, so we will have meter, and this will be equal to the 6.12 mm. So we have value of delta here, so value of delta is equal to delta t, as the Prandtl number is 1. So here we can put the value, as this question was the numerical problem, and in that there was no option, so we have to put the value in as it was asked. So we will put value of 6.12 mm. So next we will start the another topic, which is external flow over a flat plate, means external forced convection. This is our third topic that we are going to study. So this is the only slide left for today's class, in which we will have a local skin friction coefficient, as this value is going to help us in the empirical relation in the for the flow over a flat plate in laminar flow and turbulent flow. So we have to remember this value, and this term is also related to the fluid dynamics. So here in heat transfer, convection heat transfer, fluid dynamics plays an important role. So this local skin friction coefficient is denoted as, or it is defined as, the ratio of wall shear stress to the dynamic pressure, which is equal to the rho. Wall shear stress is denoted as tau 0, and dynamic pressure is 1 upon half rho and velocity, free stream velocity ka square. Then we will have tau, means we can find, through which we can find the value of, if we have the value of local skin friction coefficient, then we can find the value of wall shear stress, that will be equal to the one local skin coefficient friction multiplied by dynamic pressure. This is what we have find the value of wall shear stress, and we also can find the value of drag force, which will be equal to the area into wall shear stress. So this is when the flow is at the only one side. If the flow is flow to the both side of the plate, then in that case the drag force will be twice of the area, as the surface area is increasing by two sides of flow. So we have to remember this value, that means we will use the local skin friction coefficient, and its value is equal to the wall shear stress by the dynamic pressure. So in the next class we will discuss about the empirical relationship for the laminar flow as well as for the turbulent flow, and we will solve based on numerical, based on that empirical relations. So we will discuss in the next class.